Hi everyone, welcome back to Write Better Together with Peggy and Kennedy, and also welcome to Mechanics Monday. Joining us today is Kimberly Drummond, my lovely
Hello.
co-host. So, Kimberly Drummond, do you have anything new to share about your story?
Yes, I do. I have, as I think some of you know, and for the new ones, I'm working on writing a book along with y'all to show you what it's like to want to write, never have written before, and jump in and try what problems we come across and some possible solutions. We seek the advice of those of you that are experienced writers as well. Please comment and help us because we know we're learning as we go. But I did write 3 more chapters this week, so I've written through chapter 9 of my story. The first 3 were very, very difficult. I had a hard time getting the words to flow. I knew the basic premise of the story, but I didn't have any idea how to get it on paper and how to start. And I began by thinking, well, what would she do? What would the main character do? What would I do if I were in her shoes? What would be the next thing? And it began to flow a little easier. The second 3 chapters, last week's, they flowed a little bit better than the first 3. And this week, even better. I find the thoughts are coming naturally, and I can be washing dishes or whatever, and I can think, oh, I know what I need to write next, and I know what she would do. And I see some problems now, even though I'm still a brand new writer, but I can see, well, this seems flat. This is bland. What can I do here? And I work on it and research, which, by the way, research is a key word. If you've not written a book and you think, like my book, I wrote about a lady going to a small town in which I have actually lived. So I thought, oh, I'll know all about that. Going to be set where she's going to go down near the river some. I've been all down by that river. I know how to write that. She's going to be running a Christmas store. I love Christmas. I've been in a lot of Christmas shops. I know that. But I still have been doing a lot of research. It surprises me, all the different topics that come up. So you have to do that and plan on that. But I have gotten into a rabbit hole. More than one rabbit hole. But this week, an interesting rabbit hole. At least I think it was interesting. So, as you know, Peggyann Kennedy, I wanted to decide should I capitalize or not birds. In the book, I have birds mentioned several times. Painted bunting is one in particular. And I started off by not capitalizing it, and it didn't look right. So I visited a couple style guides we have here. They're older, but I looked at them and couldn't find anything about birds. And of course, I went to trusty internet and started Googling there. And it was interesting because half the people would say do capitalize, and half the people would say don't capitalize. And some of them were even reputable. And I asked Peggyann to ask at the Writing Center at TU, and the reply came back, not sure, but I think my instinct says you should, whatever. So I kept spinning my wheels. And here's some of the thoughts on capitalizing birds. First of all, if you're an ornithologist or writing for scientific papers, obviously you would capitalize. Most people do. Birders do. They'll capitalize, especially if they're writing scientific type articles. And it's clearer and for them and their situations. But for us, what do we do? Well, what if you say, I saw a white-throated warbler? Is it a warbler that has a white throat, therefore all lower cases? Or is it the specific white-throated warbler? Or how about a situation where you're saying, I saw a brown jay in the lawn? Well, is it a muddy blue jay that's brown because of dashing around in the mud, playing around in the mud, or is it a actual specific brown jay? Now, obviously, we can reword it and make it clearer. I saw a blue jay splashing in the mud or whatever. That's also an idea, but the whole point is what's truly proper to do. Should you really capitalize or not? And I did come across most publishers like to use, and let me make sure I get the right wording right here, Chicago Manual of Style. That's the style guide that they use. And I went to Amazon. How much does it cost? Well, it's about $50 to buy one. Well, I can't really afford that right now. But they do have a website. And some of the information on there is free and you can access it. And then otherwise you have to buy or get an annual membership for $48 a year. Can't really afford that either. But I did find what they recommended about birds. The Chicago Manual of Style says do not capitalize all animals, including birds. But it looks weird if you're writing, if you think, well, I feel like I need to capitalize painted bunny. But if you really look at how it appears in a sentence where you're not capitalizing, say, a black bear, and you're capitalizing the birds, that would look awkward. So it is better to just not capitalize. So I said a whole lot on that and even proved how crazy I am and making.
Not crazy.
But I have heard, I really have spent hours studying on this and reading so much material on it this week till I am confused. So, Peggyann Kennedy, what's your opinion and your ideas?
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing all of that. That really is a good example of how you can get way down deep into rabbit holes when you're writing, and the internet, when you're researching the internet, on the internet especially, can take you multiple crazy places. But I like what you were saying about the styles and like Chicago Manual and all of that. At the Writing Center and well at TU in general, I've actually experienced a lot of different styles, almost all the major ones like MLA and APA, even Associated Press, which is what most journalists use. But like you said, Chicago is the main one I think most publishers use for fiction. But
Can you explain to the non-writers that might be watching what a style guide is?
Okay, so basically it is the way that you style your paper, the way you format it, and like if you're writing, say, a scholarly paper, it's like, do you have a cover page, and how do you, and it tells, the style guides tell you how to format the cover page, like what to bold, what to italicize, and how to style your sources. Like, do you call them works cited and
Spacing and
yes,
font as well.
all of that, yes. MLA is usually 12-point font, Times New Roman, double spaced, that kind of thing, the normal headings. So there's that. But for fiction, it's usually Chicago, or maybe the publisher has a house style. So I think we've mentioned that before in the past, but it is a good thing to kind of keep in mind that you do need to double check what your publishers are looking for if you are looking to publish, because they will probably not accept anything that is not according to their font or their style guides, I mean. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But as far as what you were talking about, like rabbit holes and things like for your example, the birds, I feel like when it's an either or, like half the people say one thing, half the people say something else, it's kind of your decision. And all I can say is just be consistent and consult as many sources as you can and double check. But ultimately, when you make a choice, be consistent. If you're going to capitalize painted bunting once, make sure to capitalize it the rest of the time in your novel, and or vice versa, you know.
And the only exception being if you know a publisher, you're going to try to send your work to that publisher. Go with what they say.
Right.
And I also wanted to mention too that there are proper names, proper nouns, and proper adjectives sometimes, like American Crow. You would always capitalize the American, that sort of thing.
Right, definitely. That's really good. But yeah, and another thing I wanted to talk about today is grace, like giving yourself grace. I think I've talked about this before too, but I definitely want to give you this reminder because it is so easy to get down into the sludge of I'm terrible at this, I cannot do this, I'm a terrible writer. Those thoughts hit
Yes.
you
Oh,
like,
yeah. I want to give up. I can't do this.
yes, yes, it's horrible sometimes. I feel that all the time. I don't always feel like I belong it to you when I'm writing and all, but just make sure to give yourself grace and remind yourself that some of these famous writers that we study, like Shakespeare or Poe, they were once like us. They weren't immediately born great, brilliant writers. They learned this stuff through experience, the same way that we do.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes. So just live your life, get out of your bubble, and as you learn things and do things and experience new things, then that's new fodder for your stories.
Yes. And never give up on a bad day. I've said that before on this podcast, but it's good advice. So just keep trying the next day and you'll see it. For me, after getting through 9 chapters, it's already better.
Yeah.
It gets better. It really does.
So try to have a little discipline. It doesn't have to be too like military grade strict, but just like have a little set schedule for your writing time and make sure that you stick to it as much as you can. But again, give yourself grace if the thoughts aren't flowing very well. It's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up. Just maybe take the day off or rest a little bit and come back to it later. And do make sure to give yourself a lot of breaks. You need breaks. Your mind needs to
Oh
kind of
yes.
reset itself a
When we
little.
get stuck, if you take a break, sometimes it just pops back into your mind. I can't say I think you try so hard that the brain avoids it. Then when you go and do something like take a shower or wash dishes, your brain's relaxed and the ideas come to you.
Definitely. So, yeah. Do you have any examples where you had that happen?
Oh
Like
gosh,
anything specific?
almost every chapter I get stuck and I'll get up and walk around. Sometimes I just pace around and think. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I need a little bit longer break. Now take maybe 10 or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever I need to do for the thoughts to come flowing. And another idea might be to try writing another part of the book. If you're trying for the beginning and you can't get it out, Peggyann always advises that we write the last of the book sometimes anyway.
Yeah.
Or just pick a middle chapter. You know a scene that you want in the book. Go ahead and write it. Nobody says you have to do it
Right.
chronologically. You can do whatever just to get the creative juices flowing.
Exactly. I do find myself sometimes wanting to write the more exciting parts of my stories first and just to get there to get the dopamine levels rising, I guess. And that gives me kind of a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of strength to write some of the other chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Exactly. It works.
So just give yourself grace and remember that we're all here too. We're all learning. We're all experiencing the same issues and we're still learning. We're still writing.
Yeah. If you
So,
decide to write with us, please let us know. Comment. If there's some other topics you'd like discussed, comment, let us know. And for the experienced writers out there that are listening, please help us. We love to hear your advice and ideas.
yes, please do. Please offer any ideas of anything else we could cover or anything that we're doing wrong, anything we're doing right. We
Mm-hmm.
love to hear the comments. So please do comment, like, and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And please join us for Writer Wednesday. So, yeah, thank
Yeah, and
you.
join us for Mechanics Monday next week too.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, for
Thank,
sure.
thank you all very much. And remember, we could not have done it without you.
Bye.